Hey everyone, welcome to Old Roommates. Today on the show, we revisit The Terminator, starring Arnold Schwarzenegger and Linda Hamilton. So, hop in the time machine and go right to 2029 and join us.
Hey everybody, and welcome to Old Roommates, the only podcast that revisits pop culture through a middle-aged lens. Mm-hmm. This is Brian.
And this is Christina.
And our movie today is The Terminator 1984. Mm-hmm. We begin, as we always do, by talking about then. Christina.
The Then. This was a rental for me.
Okay.
I do remember this movie. I was with an old friend, we'll say, and we rented this movie, not something I would typically have rented, mm-hmm. but I was actually pleasantly surprised when I was watching it. I think I had a different idea of what it would be, and the fact that there was actually like a storyline and a little more meat to it impressed me. And I was surprised that I actually liked it.
Mm-hmm. Any particular, like, things you liked about it?
Like I said, I think it was just like basically the storyline. Like, I was impressed that they
it was meatier.
And it was sort of like mind bending, yeah. Right? Like, oh wait, then in the future and then the past, now that's affecting the future and all mm-hmm. this. But yeah, that's like a whole like sort of circular time warp, if you will. So I think that was really what stood out. Yeah. For some reason, I don't remember ever being like shocked at the violence or anything like that back then. Yeah. It didn't really, like, when we were talking about revisiting it, I was actually thinking, oh, maybe this is something for Emily to watch. And I'm very glad that it didn't. I looked it up and I said, yeah, maybe not. I'm not going to talk about it now just yet, but I was surprised at how actually violent it was. Yeah. Revisiting it, and I don't remember it being so violent.
Interesting.
Which surprised me.
Yeah, I mean, when you're younger, your tolerance is high, and you didn't even know it, and you didn't really know quite what to expect.
No, and I'm wondering if maybe other movies were just on that same level of violence too. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe it just wasn't something out of the ordinary or something.
Yeah, for me, it was also a rental, mm-hmm. and I, maybe wait a minute. It was a rental, but the thing is, it was not my kind of movie. Like mm-hmm. But I thought for some reason this was a horror movie back then. Oh, I remember avoiding it actually, and then I think it just became so popular, even more so on VHS or on cable. And then I can't remember quite what the difference was, but then I found myself watching it. Maybe it was a naked Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Oh my.
Who knows? But I started watching it, and yeah, it definitely, to your point, it was violent, but I think my hesitation was, he's like I don't know, like that it's more horror than sci-fi, mm-hmm. because honestly, horror and sci-fi, neither of those are really my favorite genres, but again, I agree with you. I like the story. I was like, I like this. I mean, like, this is, it's interesting. It's like an added layer. Like, she's going to give birth to the hero that saves the battle against mm-hmm. the robots. I mean, I thought it was very. There was more to it than just like a sci-fi running through the streets kind of thing.
Right.
Then, now let's jump into now. When did you rewatch this?
Not too long ago. Maybe a few days ago.
Yeah, same.
It was probably a few days ago.
Yeah, I think I watched. Yeah, I think it was like 5 days ago for me.
Yeah.
Any immediate reactions?
So, let's see. Immediate reactions. Well, I thought it was, even just the opening credits were so hokey to me. They reminded me of like a TV show. Like a cops TV show. Yeah. It was really funny. Like, just the graphics and stuff. I'm like, what is this? It was very strange. Mm-hmm. So, I went in it not great. And I forgot a lot about it, actually. I forgot about Reese. I don't know why. And you know what? I will tell you, I know I watched the Terminator 2.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of Terminator 2 was part of my memory of Terminator 1.
Oh.
So I was like, wait, who's this other guy? And then as I was watching, I'm like, oh, that's right. It's Reese. Main part of the story. So I think the initial reaction, I know what you're going to say. The initial reaction, my first note is, it's happening in 2029 AD. 8 years from now. And it's this whole doom and gloom.
Yeah.
Like the world has basically been wiped out.
Yeah.
There's like skulls being crushed by machines.
Right? Yeah, that was like, oh wow, okay. I think, and I also think that you have to really pay attention, because I was like, oh wait, because they do flash back and forth, and one of my gripes is like sometimes it's just needlessly flashback. You could have filled in the blanks that way,
definitely,
like on your own. But it's almost
like they had their footage and they're like, let's use it more.
To use it. Yeah, we've got to use this part.
We spent a lot of money on this.
But I do think it's so funny, because on the one hand, when that shuttle goes into land, I mean, I was like, you might as well just show the string. Mm-hmm. It looks so, like, just the flight of it. Mm-hmm. And, like, I was like, I'm like, but you know what? It's 1984. This budget was $6 million.
Oh, my.
The movie made $78 million, so it was a big hit.
Wow,
but $6 million, like, it looks pretty good for $6 million.
Well, there were parts of it that looked good.
Yeah, so we're gonna, yeah.
Go. I didn't mean to interrupt
but that is a good note, because for this movie, when it looks good, it looks really good.
Right.
And when it doesn't, it looks really rough. I mean, there's like four things right off the bat that I could just rattle off.
I was
that I'm like
laughing several times at moments that I was not supposed to be laughing at.
No. Yeah.
Because it looked so ridiculous.
Yeah. And I don't know why, because 84, I mean, Star Wars was 78. Like, there are many, Alien, I mean, there's other sci-fi movies that look a lot sharper and better, and even things that I think James Cameron had done. So it's like, I don't know why. I don't.
Yeah, I don't know either. Should we pop? We're popping it to now.
Oh yes. Yeah.
So, I mean, right off the bat. All right. So when we're talking about the bad side effects. Oh my god.
Special effects.
Sorry, I need a nap. The bad special effects. When he was a robot.
Mm-hmm.
That's the part that really, really pops into my mind. I was laughing at how stupid he looked as the robot after he'd been burnt all of that flesh off.
Yeah.
Almost to the point where, I mean, Matt and I were both watching it and we're like, oh my god, this is like ridiculous. And to your point, I was thinking, why didn't they do it better? But I was trying to think of the way he was thinking. I'm like, maybe he did it not necessarily bad, but maybe he was just sort of thinking, it's a robot, it's not supposed to look smooth, it's not supposed to look, I don't know why, but it was so bad, it was laughable. It reminded me of Escape to Witch Mountain, when they were flying in the sky.
Yeah.
It was
and
so
that movie
fake.
That movie was 9 years earlier, Escape to Witch Mountain. So I agree. That robot sequence at the end, there are moments where I'm like, oh, it looks good. It looks good right here. And then there's other things where I'm like, okay, this is so green screen, and then weird, choppy editing.
Right, it's the
but I'm like, because you have to remember. So by the way, I was wrong. This is actually James Cameron's second film. He did like Piranha 2, something. Whatever.
Okay.
But I do think still the technology was there. He just didn't have the budget for it. But the thing is like, these robots have allegedly taken over the world, and they're like, because that's the thing, right? Like, Arnold Schwarzenegger he's moving a bit stiffly, but he's not moving that stiffly. So this robot is moving like, Right. It's like he's not much. Suddenly, he's like not much of a threat. Right. And I think that's how it ends. Like, it's ending with this, like, and you think, like, oh, the terror's over. Oh, no, it's not. You have this, like, stick figure robot after you. So,
right, don't you feel like you could have
down the stairs?
Seriously, like, I felt like she could have just run over and, like, pushed him over. Like, bam, you're done.
I had the same thought. I was like, oh, she should just push him. And
it wasn't menacing at all.
Yeah, I was like, yeah, fine. He just keeps grabbing her, and he has these, like hooks on his feet, hooks on his hands, but he was so sticky. It was like stick, like stop motion.
It was like a grab. It was like one of those the toy grabbers in like an arcade.
Oh my god, yes.
He couldn't even get a good grip on it.
I love that we're starting with the ending. But the other thing is when they run into that factory, Reese yells out, "Turn everything on," so he gets distracted with the robot signals. Okay, sure. Really? Okay. Yes. Robots get distracted with robot signals. I thought the world was taken over by robots.
Right.
Sure.
He should have been able to tell the machines to help him.
1,000%. I was like now that I'm middle aged, like now that I'm older and wiser, why can't this robot tell? That would have been amazing. What if the robot told that contraption to stop crushing him?
Oh, that would have been amazing.
And then she's really screwed.
Yes.
What if he just killed her? No, but I mean, and then even there's then there's the hand, and that scene, it meant more to me now than back then, of course. When his hand is reaching at her face, and she's turning her head because it's very and alien.
Brian's doing the motions.
Hand.
It's very good. It's
it's
actually
this
almost
hand,
a
and
scary.
she's scared, and she's turning her head, and
skeleton
his hand is so close to her face. And it's very Aliens 3. You guys remember that? And also Mission Impossible. I forget which one with the helicopter.
They've done
blade.
it a few times.
Yeah, but I think that was the first time I think.
Sure, it might have been the first time. Yeah.
But so there's a lot of good things, but wow, that ending when it should have been the most terrifying in some ways.
It really. Yeah.
It was pretty bad, but I still enjoyed it. That sequence, but it was so little of it makes sense.
Well, what was good too about my viewing of it was I forgot how she survived. Mm-hmm. So a lot of that was pretty new to me in my memory. So it was nice to see. I'm like, oh wait, how is he going? How's she going to get out of here again? And then I was like, oh yeah, that's right, he gets crushed. But I didn't remember that until the very end. So it was enjoyable. Yeah. Because you really didn't know how she was going to survive.
I will say, I do remember then, back then watching this, I remember thinking that was fun. That the ending was fun. And I certainly didn't call out the special effects look so, whatever. No, I didn't call it out then. I was a lot younger, But yeah, it's something that jumps out at you that's oh wow, this is very sticky.
It's very sticky. The other part, might as well.
Yeah, no, let's talk about
the
that.
Same train when he is fixing his eye.
Yeah. It's like a mannequin head.
I wrote down, I have to look at my last page of notes because we're talking about the ending. I wrote down, Madame Tussauds Wax Museum. Is that his name?
Madame Tussauds.
Tussauds. Oh, I feel like I'm talking about Dangerous Liaisons again. Madame Tussauds Wax Museum. That is what it is. Yeah. At one point, and I'm sure you caught it too, at one point, his face isn't even moving. It's literally a wax face with a black actual eye. Yep. And I think they assumed we would be focusing on
That's right.
the other eye. Yeah. But I'm like, this is a wax face.
It's like a Michael Myers mask.
Oh my god! Absolutely.
I mean, it's not even a good mask. It's not even a good mask. And that's the other one where I'm like, if I'm a little kid in 1984, I'm thinking this is cool. Yes. I'm almost 50, being like, this is the best they could do. Right. Come on now. Right.
Because and it's a rated R movie. I mean, it shouldn't.
That's right.
It's not like it was directed toward kids.
But I will say, if I was a kid, I would think that was really cool. Yes. The arm I thought was done well. The arm was cool.
I actually had to block my eyes during that part with the scalpel and just cutting into the flesh. Yeah. So I'm like, oh, I can't do this.
But that's
even
interesting.
The sound effects.
But that's interesting, Christina, because you're saying the realism of that was so compelling that you looked away.
Yes.
But then you have this scene, which is, it's truly oh my god, this is so bad.
It was laughable.
I can't believe no one said, could we do better? Could we do a little better on this? It looks a little fake to me.
Or at least not even, they could have cut the scene where, just cut the frame. Yeah. And not show as much of his face.
100%. What if they just focused on the eye? Because then you don't have the whole mask, you don't have the whole face around it looking so fake and not. And you're right, and not even And not that he would react because he's a robot, but there's nothing going on. So it might as well be a mannequin head. Like, it's like just weird.
And I'm assuming he needs his eye to see. Like, I know I'm assuming that the robot eye works the same as a human eye. So when he's fixing the other eye, doesn't he need the good eye to see what's going?
Red.
And it's completely not even on or looking. That's my point. Like, it's not even, I mean, it was really bad.
And then it's like, then he's wearing like the sunglasses, which is, it makes the Terminator very iconic, that very iconic Terminator look.
Yes.
But, I have that same note. It's like, really? Like, again, if I was a kid in 84, I'd be like, oh my God, he's cutting his eye open, you know? But as a grown up, I'm like, that's the best they could do at this point.
But, I mean, moving on to, like, some positives.
Oh, yeah. There's a lot of positives.
There is a lot of positives. I did feel it was very effectively scary. I thought he was very scary in that he had no remorse. I mean, this was really... Arnold was, like, really a robot. Mm-hmm. No remorse. No even thinking about what he's doing. He's just has a mission. Mm-hmm. Doesn't matter who gets in the way. Blows this guy away, blows that guy away, blows everybody away, and then just on a mission. Like, he doesn't care if he makes a scene. Mm-hmm. And all of that is so effective. It's, like, very, very scary.
Yeah.
And I was scared. It reminded me a lot of almost like a Michael Myers.
Yeah.
The way he was stalking her and all that sort of thing, except for Michael Myers didn't want to cause a scene. But it was almost like Michael Myers decides to just blow the world away.
Mm-hmm. Well, to me, to that point, is like when she calls the police, and it's set up so well, because she goes to this crazy busy nightclub, $4.50 for the cover charge. But I thought she was going to the movies. Because remember, she tells someone she's going to the movie. She tells her roommate.
Right, she tells her roommate.
But then she decides, because there's someone she thinks... And she's right, someone's like after her. So she goes to this dance club with a million people, which is a good choice, not being in a quiet movie theater alone. She goes where all the people are, $4.50. She's in there, and she's hanging out. She calls the police. They say, just be in a crowded area.
Good advice.
Just be safe, be crowded, be with people, don't be alone, don't wander off, and we'll be there. Great. And to your point, the Terminator just walks in and just annihilates everyone in the nightclub.
Yeah, he doesn't care.
No rhyme or reason. It's very, like, whatever. I will say, and I know we're talking about positives. First of all, Arnold Schwarzenegger is great in this.
And
also, the first time I think I've ever have found him cute. And I don't mean, like, muscle hot, like, you know, masculine macho. I mean, like, cute. Like, when his hair is flat early on before he, like, does all, like, the, you know, the typical Terminator stuff that we've grown to love.
Right.
His hair is like flat. He's wearing like, you know, like sort of retro, well, not retro, but 80s clothes with a trench coat. And he looks like relaxed and like
he looked good.
Cool. Yeah, until like the violence happens and like his face sort of shifts a little bit, right? And the driving the car.
Right. Well, he is burned in
no. But remember before, so he's driving through the garage, and he's looking for them. They're hiding in the car. Something had happened to his face, because his...
So, that's what I mean, it was after the nightclub, and they had that explosion, like, Reese made an explosion, and he had crawled out of the explosion, remember? With all the cars?
Yeah.
There was a car chase, and then...
Oh, right! He hits the wall.
He hits the wall, and he's, like, in fire. So when you look at him next... His eyebrows are burnt off.
Okay, you're right.
But the rest of his hair is fine.
Yep, you're right. Yeah, but before all that, before all that, I thought it was like I was like, oh, he's actually because he looked, you know, the muscles were away. Mm-hmm. He just like a normal guy.
Like a normal guy.
Like he looked cute,
like a confident kind of walking guy. Yeah, like.
But oh my God, his body in like the beginning.
And you know what?
You really forget how like jacked. I mean,
Yeah, and I think that was, I mean, well, obviously it was after his bodybuilding days, but I think it was at a good point where he wasn't super huge bodybuilder. Like, it had relaxed a little bit, so it was a little bit more normal.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, not normal.
Definitely not normal.
Not normal, but not I'm a bodybuilder. I'm just, like, in a really good shape.
I think I respectfully disagree. I thought he looked like a very real bodybuilder. I know he is like flexed, so to speak, that that his body, like in terms of like say Predator, where he's completely insanely ripped. And I think Commando, he's pretty.
Well, that's what I mean.
Yeah.
Like that insanely ripped, and almost like he's not shiny and
that's right. Yeah, that's right.
Like, he just looks like a normal naked guy. And full naked guy. You see his butt. You see a little bit of his.
When? Oh, when he's walking in the shadow. Matt
and I both gasped. We're like, oh.
Well, I didn't get that good of a look.
Well, I mean, it wasn't a huge look, but it was surprised to see the dangle.
Yeah.
Because it was kind of like a.
It was. I know. It was like walking in the shadow. Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, like I was surprised they showed that. Like they didn't necessarily have to show that because it was.
Did you rewind it?
I did not.
I didn't. But I don't think I noticed too much of a dangle, but that's okay. Let's see. Just some other quick notes. 911 was busy. Please call
back. Oh my God! I have that as a note too.
Please call back at another time.
That's the recording. All lines are busy.
Please try your call again later.
Oh, yeah. And the other thing about that, in that same area, right? So the police officers are talking about how these, there's a serial killer after Sarah Connors, right? Mm-hmm. 2 Sarah Connors were killed in the same night, and they notice there's a third, Sarah Connor. Can't they just go to her apartment? Why wouldn't they just go to her apartment and say, look, we have reason to believe there's a problem?
Yeah, I mean, they left her messages.
They have her address. We all saw her address. It was in the phone book.
Right.
Like, it was bizarre to me that they wouldn't have
just go
been
there
a little bit more proactive.
Proactive and protective.
So they're like, let's put the names of the victims on the news, and if she sees it, she'll call.
Hey, we might be crazy here. Let's just send a cruiser to stake out her apartment in case anything weird happens.
Maybe the roommate would still be alive.
And certainly Rick Rossovich. Rick Rossovich, by the way...
I recognized him.
I always thought he was super cute.
Yeah,
I loved him in the Top Gun volleyball sequence. I thought he was super cute in Roxanne. But I was surprised how quickly he was iced out because he's in the first chunk of credits. Like I think
I didn't notice that.
No, am I wrong about that? I felt like he got a little bit. He was very early on in the credits, and
there's not a lot of stars.
Yeah,
I mean. He's probably 5th billing because there's like 5 real actors in there.
Casting.
A
couple casting things. Bill Paxton played a punk. Did you notice that?
I did not notice.
The guy with the huge gap in his teeth was Bill
Paxton. My gosh, that's so funny. Who
will go on to work with Cameron in other movies like Aliens and Titanic. And then the waitress. This is a little obscure. The waitress who's like, "You're dead, honey." Her friend, Sarah's friend. It was driving me nuts. I actually paused it.
I hate when that happens.
I was like, I can't get through it if this is because I'm going to be distracted. Mm-hmm. She played Blanche's daughter on the Golden Girls, of course. What else would it be from?
Of course.
And there's an episode called Blanche's Little Girl. And Blanche is telling the girls about her daughter who is a model, and she moved away, and she's a model, and she's lost touch with her. But this is their chance to rekindle their friendship. And the daughter walks in, overweight.
Oh wow!
And
I don't think I remember that
it's
episode.
A really uncomfortable episode, actually, and it's not a fan favorite because there's a lot of fat jokes. Mm-hmm. But what happens is she shows up with this awful boyfriend, played by the guy from Murphy Brown. Okay, do you remember this now, Joe Regaluto?
I do remember that. I do remember that now.
So the girls are all making comments behind her back, but he's being rude to her face.
Yes, I do remember that.
And that's when Dorothy's like. So at one point, this is a great scene. I had to
yeah, no, of course.
They're in the kitchen, and Dorothy is livid. So Dorothy's not making fun of her. In fact, Dorothy's like, listen, you don't make fun of someone who's overweight. Like, listen, I struggled with my weight, and blah, blah, blah. So she's getting really upset because she's seeing that the boyfriend is really mistreating her. And he's like, get the bags, Becky. She's like, oh, he's like, and then he's like, when she sits around, and she's like, what are you doing these days? And he's like, oh, she just sits around the house. And I mean, around the house.
God.
And they're just like, oh my God, he's so rude. So then they're in the kitchen, and she's like, something along the lines of, oh, are you, she's something like along the lines of, like, oh, I'm the biggest fan of blank. And her boyfriend says, yeah, Becky's the biggest everything.
Oh my God.
And Dorothy says, "Not the biggest everything." And the crowd goes wild. And he looks at her like, "Excuse me?" And she just like looks away.
Oh my
but
gosh!
It's not a great episode because it's way too many fat jokes. But the point of it was that they realize like, oh, they're no better than this guy who's insulting her, and like, come on. And they, Blanche has to come to her rescue. She doesn't want her mother's help, right? But it's all the drama you can muster for 22 minutes.
I love that.
It's so good. So she plays the waitress. You're dead, honey, and all that. And my next note is one about the violence, or really more about the Terminator's shooting ability. We talked about the nightclub. He walks in, he decimates the whole pretty much window. There are more than a few scenes where he has Sarah Connor in. Is this the same note you have?
Yeah.
In his sights, and yeah, when there's a melee, when there's a lot of people, it's just a melee of violence, and it's like, bam!
Yeah.
He has her in his sights, and it's like, pew, pew, pew. It's like, what? wait, just use the machine gun on her. All you have to do is kill her. So my point, the big note for me was, beyond the laser focus thing, like he waited, took his own sweet time with that.
Oh, sure.
The other one was right after that, when he shoots at her, but just a few bullets, and he hits the woman behind her. She falls down on Sarah Connor and dies. Mm-hmm. Sarah Connor is trapped under this woman.
Which was super creepy.
Very, very awful.
Yeah.
And the Terminator is just walking slowly, with the gun. It's like, just start shooting. Listen, I'm not.
He's a robot. He shouldn't be walking slowly. He should just. His mission is to kill her. Kill her. You have a gun.
I want to be clear. I am not Team Terminator, but it's like we have seen him kill people.
Yep.
Viciously, without, like you're saying earlier, without reason, without thought, like, or not without reason, without
thought.
Yeah,
and boom. That's it.
And it's like machine gun style. Now it's like pew, pew, and it's like, wait, why are you suddenly like being so careful?
It's just very strange.
All you have to do is just kill this woman. That's all you have to do. You have one job.
He did a little bit of that same thing with the roommate too. When he was killing the roommate, where she's like kind of running away from him, and he's just like slowly walking behind her, and then shoots her. But like it was the same thing. Like, why just shoot her? You have a gun. Why are you walking?
And to me, those scenes, that apartment scene felt like a horror movie to me.
Very much so. It reminded me a lot of was it Friday? No, Nightmare on Elm Street, I think.
Yeah.
Within the house and all that chasing.
Yeah.
Yes, that totally reminded me of a horror movie. Mm-hmm. His mannerisms and things. So, what else? I haven't even really looked at my notes. A couple of 80s references. She is on a moped. Like, that's how her means of transportation is, a moped, which made me laugh. She has Guess jeans on and feathered hair. Like, that, to me, was, like, so 80s.
Yeah.
And I just laughed, like, when I first saw her. I'm like, look at her. She has, like, the 80s music in the background.
Yeah. Well, her roommate, super 80s, the Walkman.
With the Walkman,
little
and the hair, the big hair.
The big hair, and then even her boyfriend was all like very like, but like California, the sun in his hair and stuff like that.
Yes.
My next note is about Reese, and I just wrote, Reese is creepy. Okay, here's my note. I you know what? Do you have anything to say before that? Because I do have a little bit.
I will say, as far as Reese goes, my first note I have is he's walking along all ragged with this long overcoat, hiding this like rifle, and he's just walking on the street. I'm like, is he supposed to be trying to blend? Like, I wrote not suspicious at all. Like, he is more of an outcast than the Terminator.
Well, because he stole his clothes from a homeless person. Well, sorry, the pants he stole from the homeless person. Naked.
Oh, and then they happened to be
naked. He was also naked. Takes the pants off a homeless guy, puts them on. P.S. They have sex later. That's a different thing. And then, he steals his clothes from the department store that he breaks into, outrunning the cops.
Yeah. Very convenient. Yeah, I love
just as convenient as the final scene.
He's running through the department store and he's like, "Oh, I'll just take this off the hanger. Just my size." He grabs a pair of sneakers or whatever and he holds it up to his feet. I'm like, "What? You're being You're being chased by the police officers.
Oh my God.
Like, you don't have time to shop.
If this was a true 80s movie, they should have done like a little montage. Like a dress-up montage.
That would have been amazing. Oh my God.
Someone should do that as like a parody.
That
like
would
in
be
a movie
so
like
funny.
this. So I just wrote, he's really creepy. And he has an intensity that is off-putting. His eyes, when he is driving... And so, by the way, great driving. I applaud,
yes,
I applaud Michael
say
Biehn.
something about
Michael
that.
Biehn. And I have a little Michael Biehn story. But Michael Biehn, great movie driving. He is scary as hell. His eyes are a little creepy. The way he looks at Sarah Connor is a little too intense. And, like, what would have been better, Christina? So now you're on the run for your life. You were Sarah Connor. You were in the car.
Yes.
Which of these dialogue moments would have made you feel more comfortable? A. Sarah, I'm here from the future. I know this is a lot to take in, but your life is in danger, and I'm here to help. Please believe what I'm about to tell you. Or B. Sarah, the PS-101 cyborg is here to kill you. Come with me if you want to live. Bah! It's like, oh my God. It's like, I know you've been through a lot. I know you're from another time.
Oh my gosh.
But you're scaring the fucking hell out of me because I already have someone.
Buddy. Read the room. She already thinks you're trying to kill her. You need to reinforce that you're a good guy first.
There's no chill at all. Like, they're already in the car driving. He'd be like, Sarah, listen, this is a lot to process. Da-da-da. Buckle up. I'm here to protect you, but this guy is trying to kill you.
Buckle up.
We're from the future together. It's a long story. Let's just find safety. But trust me, because otherwise, she thinks you're going to kill her too. She's trying to get out of the car.
She originally thinks that he's the bad guy.
Yeah,
she thinks he's the one that's following her. That he's the reason why she calls 911 in the first place.
A giant man has shoved his fist through a windshield, trying to rip her heart out.
Oh
Like, she's been through a lot. Like, try and calm her down.
Let's not freak her out. Let's
really
just at least show her some ID or something.
I wrote you this. Oh my God. I wrote you this note with a futuristic pen. Oh my God. I'm trying to catch you up with what's going on.
That was pretty crazy. Yeah, he was not someone I would want to hang out with.
No, he has no chill. I wrote down, this is another negative. In my opinion, I felt this really slowed down, like almost exactly an hour in. I feel like it was very front-loaded with like car chases, foot chases, murders, shootings, this, that, nightclub, blah. And then suddenly it was like they actually are in a safe zone, kind of.
Sure.
Like she's freezing, but yet there's no breath being visibly
Well, and it's
seen.
Immediate freezing. Like she was not freezing, and all of a sudden she sits down, she's shaking like I've never seen anybody shake before.
That's an acting note.
Yes,
it's an acting note, but it's made worse by the lack of an actual cold environment.
Right. It didn't look.
They don't look cold at all. It didn't look cold.
There's no snow.
Like,
I mean, it was like fall.
Not only that, I can't even see your breath, Christina. I'm sorry. If we're somewhere you're like, I'm freezing, and I don't see breath. I'm like, what's wrong with you?
Just want my coat.
Yeah, come on. You're not freezing. You're just a little uncomfortable.
Not freezing. You're trying to. She's playing hard to get, I think. Yeah,
but around that same time, we get another flashback with like the photo and how like something happened. The photo was on fire or whatever, or something. But then a very funny moment happens where Sarah calls her mom. The Terminator figures out where Sarah's mom lives. And Sarah's calling her mom. She's like, Mom, I just want you to know, blah, blah. And she's like, that's lovely, dear. Thanks for reaching out. I love you. Talk to you later. And you realize it's the Terminator disguising his voice flawlessly. And eloquently. But you also know that he has killed Sarah Connor's mother.
Yes.
And then this very next call, he calls the hotel and says, give me your address.
Yeah.
And like it's so I laughed. And it's intentional.
It's so
I think that's an intentional laugh. I laughed out loud. I thought that was very funny.
That was really funny. Yeah, I laughed at that too. For sure. But how creepy when you realize it's him.
Oh yeah.
It's so creepy. I remembered that from last time.
Yeah.
But I had forgotten until the scene. That was good. That was really good. Should we talk about her acting a bit?
Linda Hamilton? So let me say something. Linda Hamilton, did you remember that TV show Beauty and the Beast?
Yes, but I did not watch it.
I did. And I really liked that show. I loved the first season in particular. I think it sort of just was the same old thing after a while. But I really liked her. I think she was like really well cast. I do find her to be and I don't know any, and being honest, I know very little about Linda Hamilton, but I think I would argue that she probably trained in drama at some place a bit prestigious, is my guess.
Okay.
And I don't know this because she is her word pronunciations. Her word pronunciations are very solid, and I find that she really wants to get every word out, and I think there's something a bit, almost even a bit robotic about that in some ways.
How ironic!
I know, but I liked her. I just there were a couple parts there are some parts where I'm like, that's a script issue when she yells, "Get up, soldier!" Oh, I laughed. I did laugh.
Yeah, that's ridiculous.
Because there's like bad line readings. There's also just bad dialogue, and there's only so much a person can do.
Yeah.
What's your take?
So I liked her. So here's the thing. I remember her more from Terminator 2.
Which she's
amazing.
Phenomenal.
Right?
Yeah, she's amazing.
Unbelievable in that movie.
Yeah.
So maybe my expectations were a bit high.
Yeah.
When I was watching this one. I found her to be really bad at the beginning of the movie when she's just
sunny
a normal
and happy.
person. Yeah, I didn't buy that personality part of her.
No one is that happy. And I'm sorry, I've had a million jobs in my life. No one's that happy walking into like their 10-hour waitress shift.
Yeah, there's no way.
I'm sorry.
And she was late.
That's right.
She was
happy.
And she was happy.
She was like bouncing off the wall. She was such like an Energizer bunny, and she was late. You're right. She's late. The people are rude to her. Like she's a bad waitress.
She's a
terrible waitress. They're complaining to her, and she's just like Rebecca of Sunnybrook Farm.
Yep.
So happy as can be. I agree with you.
So yeah, I think at the beginning she wasn't that great. When she's on the phone, when the roommate's boyfriend calls, and he's like, first of all, so he calls. She answers, and he immediately goes into, like, phone sex.
Yeah.
All right, so you're calling a person that has a roommate, and you're not going to make sure that it's your girlfriend? But aside from that, when she was on the phone, it just looked so awkward and weird, because she thought it was hilarious. And she's giggling, and she's like, and she actually holds the phone, she's like,
yeah, that's right, yeah.
Almost like, I mean, it was obviously a fake laugh.
Yeah.
And that bothered me a lot. And I'm like, oh no. And this is like kind of at the beginning of the movie, and I'm like, please say her acting gets a little bit better. And I do think that it did get better. I think it was better when she was being chased and scared, running for her life. When she was in those moments, I thought it was a little bit more authentic.
Yeah.
When she was just walking around like Rebecca of Sunbrook Farms, like I didn't buy it at all. I just thought it was weird, and she looked just
too happy.
Yeah, just too happy. And at one point she said, "Oh, what was it?"
Oh my God, Christina, your T-shirt.
Oh my gosh, I have a T-shirt that says happy.
Christina's wearing a T-shirt that says happy.
That's really funny.
That's really funny.
But you can, like, you know, no, I am not acting happy.
Did you ever see Children of the Corn? She's in that. And,
I didn't realize she was in that.
But Christina, I'm telling you, it's like the same note. It's like, I feel like there's something, maybe it's a director note, I don't know. But I feel like there's something in her that's like, I need to show the duality of the happiness of this character and the sheer terror she'll experience later.
Yeah.
Sarah Connor will change as a person, and she does. Because the whole thing, and I liked that part of it. I liked her acting when she's like, a bit beyond belief. Like, she's like, no, I'm a warrior. And she's like, wait, I'm a warrior? And so, in her defense, although I agree with you, she, it kind of does strengthen the beginning a little, because she is so, like, lighthearted, and kind of like, she's not even a good waitress. So then the guy's like, no, you don't understand, you become a warrior, like, and you give birth to the one who saves us. And she's like
do
wait,
I look like that?
The bigger and the bigger thing for her is, wait, I'm a warrior. And to the movie's credit, T2, she is that warrior. So I mean, it's really interesting, but I completely agree, the beginning with her is like, she's a little too much.
It was just too much.
Make her a little flawed. Make her like a bit of like a loser, where it's where you're almost like, oh, just, you know, it's like, well, just kill her.
Right.
But
I
it's
would have
weird.
believed, absolutely. That's a really good note, Brian. I like that a lot. Because you figure if she's just sort of like, la-di-da, like humdrum, depressed, you almost can believe more that she has some that darkness inside of her that's going to help her become that warrior.
Because it would almost be like, if she's this like depressed sort of like, or not, maybe depressed is almost even too strong, but just like a little like burnt out, a little burnt out, like slacker. Like suddenly she has to like suddenly really give a shit about a lot of things. Like this Sarah Connor loves life. But it's like if you met someone who's like, whatever, my life's a draining hole of bad dates and waitress jobs, like then it's like, you know, but then to see that transition of like, no, actually I give a shit about my life. I like my life. Whereas this Sarah Connor just loves her life. So it's like, you know, it's a lot.
It was a lot. Even when like her boyfriend canceled on her. So first, and that's again another like acting note, where she's on the phone with him and he's canceling with her, and I think she actually like pouts, like she actually has like a
yes,
like people don't do that. People don't do that. People get a little
that's
mad.
That's the theater thing. That's what I'm saying. I wonder if she was like a theatrically trained.
She does like a little pout, but then she's like, I'm just gonna go to the movies, which was kind of actually cool. But like, I'm not gonna just sit home and be upset. I'm gonna go to the movies. But it just, those moments just bothered me. So I was happy to see that she was better at acting as it went.
I want to be really clear because we have very engaged listeners. What I mean by waitress jobs is, first of all, there's nothing better than amazing service at a restaurant.
Oh,
it makes or breaks the meal. What I'm saying is Sarah Connor is not a good waitress.
She's not a good waitress.
That's my point.
She was bringing the food to the wrong people. She was people
were
like yelling.
Was a terrible waitress.
Where's my food?
That's what I'm talking about.
I mean, and the people, the guests, I guess, in the restaurant. What are they? Customers. I'm like, it's not. People don't call them guests.
Well, we used
Jordans. I know, Jordan and Disney. But the customers were rude. But,
they didn't
so it's
handle.
Not like, but she's giving the wrong food, and she's obviously.
Well, and that one customer yells over while she's with other people. Have you ever done that?
No, I would not.
Excuse me. It's like she's already. She's.
She has food in her hands.
And someone's like, "Excuse me, we'd like to order." It's like, and these people would like me to put their food down, and it's the wrong food. But
and then she spills the water. She knocks the water onto the guy. And
oh my god.
So.
But to your earlier note, had she not gone to the movies, she would have been dead.
Right. Right.
And I don't know, did the Terminator know that wasn't Sarah Connor?
So, not at first.
Okay.
He thought it was her at first.
Right.
But then Sarah called.
That's my question. So
and
at
said,
first,
get out of the house.
That's right.
It's, did she say, I hope she didn't say, hey, it's Sarah. Like, she didn't say that, did she?
I think she did.
She's calling her roommate and saying, hey, it's Sarah.
Listen, people don't recognize voices, remember?
So I'm going to call
her boyfriend?
I'm going to call you and be like, hey, Brian, it's Christina. I don't think I've ever uttered those words.
Back in the day, before like caller ID?
No, I'd be like, hey, what's up?
I don't know about that, Christina. I really don't know about that. Mm-hmm. Also, remember, apparently there's something wrong with their phone because the guy doesn't even recognize the difference between her voice and his girlfriend's voice, and he just starts talking dirty to her.
Yeah, it's just weird.
It's weird. Let's talk about sex.
Let's talk about sex, baby.
Does she have feelings for Reese? I just wrote, does she actually have feelings for Reese, or does she...
I did not feel like they had
any sex. No chemistry.
Any chemistry at all.
No chemistry.
It didn't make sense that they would have sex. Like, she's running for her life.
Yeah.
Does she really want to get naked and vulnerable?
Right.
Knowing that a robot could walk through the door at any moment.
Yeah, it's weird. It's a weird choice on both of their parts.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I understand why it had to happen.
Right.
But, I mean, we're talking about sci-fi, right?
Yeah.
Couldn't it have happened another way? Like, couldn't they have figured out another way to get her pregnant?
By Reese?
I mean, it's 2029, for goodness sake.
No, it's 19. No, it's the 80s.
No, I mean, he's coming
in the
from
future.
2029.
Like, he just gives her a pill. Well, that's awesome.
And then realizes...
It's like, oh, you're Sarah Connor? And he's like, Connor? You're Sarah Connor? But then he'd have to, like, roofie her or something.
Yeah, well, maybe
with a
not.
pill.
But it just seems like somehow...
Not to have sex, to get her pregnant. Different.
Right, but maybe it was somehow like, okay, you are carrying him, or something like that. And she'd be like, well, I haven't had sex. It's like, or so, you know, there could have been some sort of weird sci-fi. I mean, it's sci-fi.
What if
I'm not a sci-fi
what if she
writing.
had some like shitty one night stand that she was like regretting? See, we need to like Sarah Connor needs to be a flawed human being who's like contemplating this baby she's carrying. She just finds out she's pregnant. She's hating life. She's a bad waitress. And then Reese shows up and says, "No, listen, what's going on right now?
This is what's happening.
This is what's happening."
Yeah, he didn't have to be the father.
Yeah. At the same time, the sex scene, I was like, for a sci-fi movie, this is a decent sex scene.
Yeah,
the only thing I hate, I fucking hate when sex scenes do this. There's always the grabbing of the sheet.
I mean, what's the point? I've
never grabbed a sheet.
I've never grabbed a sheet.
Never.
You grab the back.
Listeners, if you've ever grabbed a sheet during sex,
you don't
send us an email, oldroommatespod@gmail.com, and explain to us what was going on
what's going to happen? You grab a sheet, it's going to remove itself from the mattress, and then it's going to get all wrapped up in your body.
It's so weird.
It sounds
so
uncomfortable.
He grabbing the sheet? Like he was grabbing the sheet, right? Not her.
I don't know.
And then he lets go of the grip on the sheet. I'm like,
oh, well, I guess he's done.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Did you ask if she was done yet? Mr. Man from the future. He planted his seed and he's done.
By the way, she was on top.
And now,
as the warrior she is.
What I wasn't sure about, did he know that he was John Connor's father? Was that ever established that he knew?
No, not to my knowledge.
Because at the end, when she's in the car and you see that she's pregnant and they get the picture taken and she's saying, was she talking to herself or writing a note? Like, what was she doing? I think she was talking to herself. Or maybe she was recording a message to him.
Yes.
She was recording a message to her son. And she was saying, should I tell you about your father? And she said, I think I will. Or something on that idea. Mm-hmm. Assuming she follows through with that and tells him about his father, are we to assume that Reese knew that he was going to impregnate her?
I know. This is where I get a little, things get a little fuzzy. I don't know.
Because that would have been...
But there's no way...
you want to...
How could that have happened, though? Because remember, in 2020, he's the same age as he is when he goes back. So how could he possibly have had sex with her? So I think it's just a coincidence that, he happens to get her pregnant, but that baby will be... what was it? John Connor? John Connor.
That was one thing that was kind of funny when she said... Well, I guess I know what I'm going to name him. I thought that was really funny.
A really random note I have is that the most desolate streets and sidewalks in film history. Did you notice that anytime there was, of which there are a lot of them, car chases, foot chases, there's never anyone on these sidewalks.
No.
Never.
Nope.
Never. And I understand it's LA, right? And yeah, LA is really a driving city, but still, no, I'm talking from the littlest neighborhoods to the busiest streets. Yes, when she's walking for the movie, but as soon as the action starts, besides the people in the nightclub, there's very few people, unless they're indoors, like the nightclub, the police station. But there's no one running, meaning. The cars are flying all around through these neighborhoods. There's not a single soul on these streets.
Right. That's a good note.
Yeah.
Yeah. A little attention to detail. That's all we really need. The doctor, the psychiatrist, when they get pulled in, not very professional.
You think? Not at all. Not at all.
He basically said, you're crazy.
Yeah. And they're laughing. I could make $1 million if I write a book about this guy.
Yeah. Laughing at him. And then, he tapes his session and so it's the cops, the psychiatrist, and Sarah Connor. I'll just watch in the video. Why is Sarah Connor allowed to watch this video? And the doctor knows how the conversation went. He was there.
I know. Maybe it's because they're looking for discrepancies of what Sarah's reporting and what he's saying.
I think what would have made a better scene is if it wasn't a recorded conversation. I think if the cops and Sarah were watching it live.
But you would need to know, you would need to know how the psychiatrist felt about it. Meaning you would need to know that he's not a good guy, this psychiatrist.
Mm-hmm. No, he's really bad.
He sucks. And he's as bad at psychology as Sarah is at waitressing.
Absolutely.
Very,
what's with the professions in this movie?
Clumsy. And then you have the two cops, which are actually good.
They are good.
They get wiped out.
They get
right
wiped
away.
out immediately.
Yeah.
I know, that was sad.
Yeah.
I was a little upset about that. I was hoping that they lasted a little bit longer.
Yeah.
And they were okay, except for the fact that they didn't send a squad car to her house and decided to warn her in like the offhand chance that she's watching the news. Like, again, I don't understand that whole thing. Like, thank goodness she's watching the news.
It's hard sometimes, but I agree with you.
And is there any? What about the rights of these other Sarah Connors? Like, did the families of these other Sarah Connors say it was okay to release their names? It happened like 10 minutes ago.
I don't know.
I don't think you can do that.
Well, one of them said she is survived by her husband and 2 children. I don't know about the other one, but I mean, I guess what if it's a fucking serial killer? I don't know the rules, Christina.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
So I guess they're not great.
And then, and so one thing, there's a black cop and white cop. The white cop is Lance Henriksen, and I'm so sorry I didn't take the full notes on this, but originally when James Cameron was coming up with this idea, he promised Lance Henriksen, I believe, the role of Reese.
Oh.
And things changed. The story changed. The ideas changed. The casting ideas behind the 2 main roles changed. But just as much as like Alec Baldwin in Working Girl, it's the same thing. Like he's like, listen, it's changing, but we want you to be the detective. You'll get a top billing, and he's like, okay. So
great.
Professionalism.
I wonder if it
that's
gets paid
nice.
the same.
Well, that's probably why he was okay with it.
Yeah. It's like, as long as you pay me the same money, I'll work less.
But you will die, and you won't be in any of the sequels.
And of course, they have the iconic "I'll be back,"
which Arnold didn't want to say.
He
didn't because he said he was really self-conscious about his accent, and he said he couldn't say "I'll." He was really afraid it was going to be laughable.
Oh, interesting.
And he wanted to say "I will be back" because he didn't think robots would talk in contractions.
That's a good point. But look at the line.
And he has said this in other movies now too. It's like it's the most famous film lines in history.
This has to be the most famous.
I'll be back. And I do love how he looks around the frame of the police office to see like, what am I dealing with here? Yeah, I can drive through this.
Yeah. That's when he looked a little robotic.
Yep.
Moving his head up around.
As I said earlier, I think he is excellent in this movie.
He
it
really
wouldn't have worked if he was too movie starish.
No.
Or too.
And I don't know how many other actors would be able to pull it off either.
That's right.
I think the accent worked in his favor because it did make him seem a little bit more robotic, just having that heavy accent.
Yeah, Arnold Schwarzenegger, his star was rising, and this is another casting note. There was talk where they were going to make Arnold Schwarzenegger Reese.
Oh, I'm glad they didn't.
Yeah, me too. Very glad they didn't. And they were going to make the Terminator. I think they were talking to like Sylvester Stallone or someone.
Well, and I was thinking about him, and I don't think he would have done a good job at all.
No.
Not at all.
No. He's too recognizable. At that point, Arnold Schwarzenegger was, a rising star and certainly he's super recognizable, but we didn't know in 84, you didn't know enough about him to say trust him as like a movie star. Do you know what I mean? As like a hero.
Yo, I'll be back. Like, that's not going to work.
I think it would just be more. It would just feel more like an action movie.
It would have been, yes, for sure.
If it was,
I wouldn't have probably bought him as a robot.
You mentioned the end, and so
yeah, we started with the end.
Yeah, but we the very very end, which I think is pretty cool, with like the the horizon, or not the horizon, the landscape that she's driving into with the storm.
Yes.
The storm's coming, but I guess she's in Mexico by the dangling piñatas on every crevice of the gas station.
Oh my gosh. So horrible.
That's so weird. Oh! My next note.
Oh.
How rude is Sarah Connor? This little kid took a picture of her. A picture that will last for decades, right? And he asks for $5. And she thinks about it. She takes the picture from him and then says, Quattro. $4. It's like, it's the end of the world.
He's a little child.
Don't be a cheapskate. It's $1.
Give him $5.
It's really $1. You're willing to give him $4 already. You won't give him $5?
She paid $4.50 to get into that stupid club.
Christina, That's an excellent point.
Yeah, that was... God. Yeah, she clearly does not like kids.
Should we take a quick break?
Yes. Let's take a quick break. Oh, my God. I need a glass of water. All right. We'll be back.
Hey there, it's Brian and Christina. We just wanted to take this break to thank you for listening to Old Roommates, the only podcast that revisits pulp culture through a middle-aged lens. Please subscribe to Old Roommates on iTunes, Spotify, and wherever you listen to podcasts. And give us a rating or review while you're there.
And if you have any questions, comments, or observations, shoot us an email at oldroommatespod@gmail.com. And follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at Old Roommates. Thanks for listening, and now, back to the show. And we're back talking about 1984's The Terminator.
Shouldn't you say, ooh, we're back?
We're back. Okay, so what else do you have? Because I only really have I have a little bit of trivia.
So I have 2 notes. The music in this sounded like a video game to me.
Yeah.
It was very the
beginning of Youngblood.
Yeah, I think it was, but very sort of like you had. I got the feeling there was like a Casio keyboard involved in this music. It was like
yes,
like very strange
and a bit horror at times. I think they worked with that, and I actually thought it was effective. I mean, remembering it's 84, I actually didn't have the music down as a note, but I must have liked it.
Yeah, I did not love it. I liked it at certain points, but it was sort of constant, especially at the very end. That whole sequence was all just I think maybe coupled with the bad effects, it did seem like more of a video game. Yeah. When I'm thinking about it, that's probably why I didn't like the music so much, because the music is playing, and then you have this really fake robot dancing on the screen. Yeah. It did look like it was a video game on my TV. So maybe that's probably it. And then the only other note I have is, it says she was pretty quick to hop in bed with him. Yeah. But in that same thing, so they've had sex and now apparently they're in love or whatever. And she jumps out at him and says, "Think fast." I'm like, Sarah! Yeah. You guys are running for your life.
She's lucky he wasn't holding his gun.
He could have freaking blown her away. What is wrong? That is not funny.
Yep.
And then she laughs.
Yeah.
I wrote, "Think fast, Sarah." Really?
Yeah. No, Christina, exactly. You're right.
Read the room once again.
They're probably perfect for each other.
Yeah.
They're both.
Can you imagine? Thank God they only had that one night, though. Imagine how was that relationship?
Are you ready for a little bit of history?
Yes, let's hear it.
Linda Hamilton and James Cameron. This is some of this is common knowledge, but maybe not all of it. So, Terminator 2 was released in 1991. 1993, James Cameron and Linda Hamilton had a baby. Ah. They got married. They didn't get married until 1997. But wouldn't you know it? Uh-oh. They divorced in 99 because James Cameron ended up becoming involved while he was married with Susie Amos. Susie Amos is from Titanic. She's the one, the modern day.
Oh,
with the red
okay.
hair. The red hair. Basically, Bill Paxton's love interest in Titanic. So he ends up, and I believe they're still together.
Okay.
And Linda Hamilton filed for divorce. Mm-hmm. She got, allegedly got, I'll say.
Sure.
$50 million in the divorce. You know what?
Wasn't it a
Good
bit
for her.
Messy? I feel like there were some scandals involved.
Well, she just had a baby, and he's cheating on her with his allegedly with the actress. Because honestly, that's what he did with her. He didn't. To my knowledge, they did nothing in '84. This is all in '91 with T2. Mm-hmm. So it's once again, he has an actress. I'm glad Kate Winslet escaped his gaze.
Right.
But yeah.
Yeah, I feel like there was a little bit of whatever. It was noteworthy that this was happening, and
he has also been. I mean, listen, he has also been married 5 times, and one of them was to Catherine Bigelow. She's an Oscar-winning director, of course, but like, I mean, not. I feel like women in the 80s and 90s used to get a lot of shit for their numerous divorces and quick marriages. James Cameron is like the king of, that. I mean, Johnny Carson had several marriages, Elizabeth Taylor, but James Cameron 5, and they were within a relatively short period of time. So
were they all actresses, do you know?
No, because one was a director, one was...
movie related, yeah.
In the movie industry. I think his first wife was not, but he left her for a film producer.
Yeah.
Yeah. A film producer on this film.
Interesting.
Gail Ann Hurd is her name. Okay, we have questions.
Yeah, I have an FMK.
Awesome. I have a true match game.
Oh, good.
What do you want to do first?
Let's get the FMK.
FMK, let's do it.
All right, so it's pretty straightforward.
Okay.
We have Reese.
Yeah.
We have the Terminator.
Yeah.
And we have the roommate's boyfriend. I forget his name.
Oh.
I don't even know.
I do too. We call him Rick.
We'll call him Rick
because he's Rick Rossovich. Yeah. Okay, so I have questions.
Yes.
These are the characters.
The characters,
and they're all
not the actors.
Alive.
And they're all alive.
They've all survived their dooms because they've all basically died in this movie. So, okay.
Well, this actually is challenging.
It's a little challenging. Okay, I'm done.
All right, Okay, I have your guess. The guess for you.
Okay. I'm going to F Reese. I'm going to kill Terminator. I'm going to marry Rick.
Okay.
Because Rick, I do think Rick Rossovich was a really handsome. I mean, I don't know what it looks like now, but he was a very I used to have such a little crush on him, and to be married to him would be like, or the character.
Sure.
He's fun, talks dirty, he's whatever. But to be married, at least I liked his energy level. Whereas Reese is a little too manic and intense. Yeah. But I would have sex with him once and then never see him again. But then Terminator, I couldn't trust him. Also, it's a robot.
True.
It could hurt, badly.
That's true. I had you effing him.
What?
And killing Reese. Because I don't think that Reese was very good in bed.
And if he was grabbing sheets and stuff, that would be weird, yeah.
And I had you marrying her.
Terminator, he is a robot. I don't know how all the parts work.
But you still, that's true. You don't know how it's going to work. But, he's pretty hot.
He's hot, but, I don't know. It's like
he could probably go all night if he's a robot. But who wants that, right?
Yeah, I just don't. I just don't.
Sleep sometime.
I just don't know. Yeah, I feel comfortable with that answer.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll accept it.
Yeah. That's why we clarified the actor or the character.
Yes.
Okay, here's my match game question. Are you ready, Christina?
Yes.
All right. I think this might be. Well, I'm not going to say it. I think this might be easy, but you never know.
Oh, you're getting the music ready?
Yep.
Oh, good.
Here we go. Here is match game.
Did you write down your answer yet?
Nope. Done.
Okay.
All right. Christina.
Yes.
The Terminator is probably lucky he died in his hunt for the Sarah Connors.
Ooh, why is that?
Well, his next mission was to track down John Blank.
Oh, jeez.
Okay. Ding.
Ding.
Christina, Terminator is probably really lucky he perished in his hunt of all the Sarah Connors. His next target was named John Blank.
Smith.
Yay! It's either Smith, Jones, or Williams is my feeling, right?
Yeah, I figured Smith. But I was also thinking when you first said it, I'm like, oh, is he looking for a specific, person or character? I was like, that would be, hard to kill. Then I'm like, all of a sudden I was like, oh, wait, no. The phone book.
Oh, my gosh. So wait. More, less, or about the same than before?
I think I liked it a little more.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. It's hard to say. It's hard to say. I'm going to say about the same.
I think a little less for me. I do think it's slowed down. And also, the more I was thinking about it, like, as soon as it was over, I was like, that's a lie. I would say about 40 minutes in, I was like, wow, this movie truly, as much as he's a robot, this movie is truly assassinations, car chases, and foot chases.
Yeah.
So, even if you, meaning you could easily subtract the science fiction angle from this and have, like, a action thriller kind of thing.
Right.
It doesn't necessarily need the sci-fi angle necessarily. He's really just trying to kill this woman. So I think in that, and through my middle-age lens, I liked it a little less. But anyway, that's the Terminator. And that is it for us and for this episode of Old Roommates. Thanks for listening. Please subscribe to Old Roommates on iTunes, Spotify, Stitcher, and wherever you listen to podcasts. And give us a rating or review while you're there, please.
If you have an idea for the show or a suggestion or comment, you can email us at oldroommatespod@gmail.com. And don't forget to follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at Old Roommates. This is Christina.
And this is Brian.
Thanks again for listening. Until next time.